Are you going to be up late confirming your GPX files or reorganizing your tool roll?
Oh, I'm probably going to have to go through those GPX files a few times.
Are you the guy linking up all the helmet comms, or are you the guy scouting campsites with fresh water sources?
I am definitely scouting the campsites.
Are you spotting the perfect drone angle for a group shot, or are you the guy cracking jokes when everybody is completely soaked and tired and the tempers are getting short?
I'm the guy cracking the jokes, as if you might have guessed.
Are you keeping the first aid kit handy, or are you busting out the toe strap to pull the pigs out of the mud?
It's toe strap every time, baby. I'm a pro.
Are you eyes on the horizon spotting the rain clouds, or are you the one that's kicking the dirt and shuffling rocks trying to know where the traction is?
Oh, I'm spotting the rain clouds.
Are you the guy setting the pace, or are you riding drag and tending to the flock?
I'm setting pace, man. Get on behind me.
Hidden in the forested backcountry, the terrain doesn't challenge you. It assaults you. Deep in the shadows of the primeval hollers, your machine is only as capable as the unit behind it. Have you chosen your brothers in arms wisely? The day cruise is over. The adventure has begun. Casual has left the chat. Now it is time to start thinking like a squad. Welcome to Moto Adventurer Unscripted, a weekly podcast about motorcycles, travels, outdoor, and adventure. I'm Drew Faulkner, your host. Mark's going to join me again today as we're talking about assembling your ADV squad. There's a lot of jobs when it comes to a group ride to get a successful mission through the holler somewhere when things go awry. So what are the tools and personality archetypes that you want to take with you? As usual, we want to hear from you, listeners. Hit us with email, motoadvr@gmail.com, or even better, leave a comment here on Spotify. Love to hear from you. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, do us a favor and leave a review. Wherever you're listening, grab your beverage of choice, turn it up, and we hope you enjoy the show. So everybody has their riding crew, but I think that when you start to get in the adventure world and everybody has all their tactical gear and everything else, to some degree, we're actually building a team to go on some kind of adventure, surmounting some kind of endeavor. So today I want to unpack who are the personalities and what are the essential skill sets that you want in your team before you take fat bikes into the unknown.
Yeah, I definitely have some thoughts on this, so it's going to be interesting to compare some notes.
I want to make that parallel to the military, and I'll circle around and do some classroom, or we'll tell some war stories here in a second. But as usual, I'm going to do mail call. So hit me with that cool text message you got, sir.
Oh man, I've got to call out my good friend Chase, because he actually sent me a text after he heard episode 152, how to plan a motorcycle trip, and basically he said, dude, I wasn't sure if this episode was created before or after that ride where we left at 10 o'clock and somehow ended up pretty deep into North Carolina when I was supposed to be back by 4 o'clock. And yeah, it was right around then. We didn't have a plan. We just literally got coffee in the morning and went for a ride, and somehow we ended up pretty deep into Western North Carolina. So there was that mad dash to get back home, at the end of the ride, where it's like, oh yeah, we got to be home in 2 hours. Can we make this happen? Days of Thunder style. Let's go. Those are the best, don't you think?
No.
I love them.
No, I don't like things to be that much of a calamity if I can help it. But you know me, we've talked about it. I'm trying to jam more in there.
Yep.
The brand new episode just came out, episode 153, the Motorcycle Encyclopedia. My buddy Bowen sends me a text. You jokers are killing me. I've been listening to the podcast on my run, and their discussion about clibbins was absolutely killing me. I was stumbling sideways while laughing about you guys. Holy. So, hey, that's awesome. I do like to hear what people listen to the podcast. So if you want to leave a comment, please do. I listen on my commute, typically going different places. So I'm curious if folks are turning us up in the garage or in the car, what's going on. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
You got one more.
Yeah, another one from How to Plan a Motorcycle Trip, which, by the way, I thoroughly enjoyed that episode. So Adam is saying, just touching on the bug spray comments, and he got pretty sick last summer from tick bites while cutting track with a chainsaw and a weed eater in Kentucky. Best prevention he found thus far is a Sawyer, which is a brand of permethrin. Curious on any insights? Well, I do, as I've said before, make my living with, insecticide, pesticide, that sort of thing. And I'm very, knowledgeable about permethrin, but I'd never heard of Sawyer. Have you ever heard of Sawyer before?
No,
it's
it's
pretty
new
cool.
to me too.
It's interesting. You wash it into you spray it on or wash it into your clothing, neck gaiter, shoes, whatever. And it's not like DEET where it just melts your tent. So I have to say that this is a new product for me, Adam. I'm going to look into it a little bit more. At the end of the day, permethrin is a chemical, so be advised that it is a chemical. And it is pretty bad for anything aquatic. That's the only caveat I'm going to throw out there to you, Adam. So if you feel so inclined, pull up the material safety data sheet, the MSDS form for that product. Don't put anything on doused in that permethrin and then jump in a creek to cool off, because you could do some damage. But other than that, man, great comment. I learned something new. I'm going to try it out. So I appreciate that.
Cushman sent us, he left a comment, and he actually sent a pretty big email. So I'm going to try to boil down some of that stuff. A lot of good feedback.
He has a lot to say, dude.
So we're still talking about how to plan a motorcycle trip, episode 152. He mentioned he always carries an inflatable chair pad because there's usually a log, a chair, a bench, or something else like that. Makes it's less to pack and still makes something comfortable.
Yeah.
He always brings a splitting axe in case he needs to make some kind of kindling or whatever, get a fire going. He also had a shout out to Around the World Paul about carrying a large flat drain plug. That way you can use any sink or tub anywhere and do your laundry there. And then pack a clothesline. And with those things, you only need to bring a couple pairs of only a couple pairs of clothes. So that was solid.
He's a pretty well traveled guy, man. He knows what he's talking about. So those are good tips.
I want to take this moment to get a shout out. Obviously, we're based here on the East Coast in the U.S., and that's where lots of the listeners are from. I like surfing the stats from time to time about the podcast, and I want to give a shout out. We have a lot of non-U.S. residents listening to the show, and so we appreciate that. We got 5% of the listenership is actually from Canada, so that's the second country after USA. And then we have 4.5% from Australia, 4.5% from the UK, and 1.3% from New Zealand. So
it's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, folks from across the pond, we really appreciate you tuning in. So we've had a few comments in the past where we've completely mispronounced something or totally misunderstood a culture comment or whatever else. So hey, keep hitting us with the feedback. So want to improve the podcast. So thanks.
Yeah, very cool.
How to build your ADV squad. I have to admit, this kind of came out of the who are the 10 motorcycle personalities you will meet, combined with I was a cavalry guy in the Army, and it's kind of in my head that if you're a video gamer, anybody that listens to this, it's like Call of Duty, Battlefield, they're going to get it right away, right? If you got a team and you're playing Battlefield, I need a medic, I need a machine gunner, I need an engineer, and I need all these other roles, because if everybody's a rifleman, you just can't get the job done. So as a backstory, you and I were talking about before the show started, an Army squad is a squad leader and 2 team leaders, and each team leader has 3 guys. So you have 9 people. And I'm like, I wonder if we could create an ADV squad of 9 people. I think you and I would both agree that taking 9 people into the woods with big bikes is probably going to be a serious pain in the ass, but this is a fun show. That's the whole reason why we're putting this together, right? So what are the 9 basic jobs or personality archetypes that you would expect to see in an adventure ride? So that's kind of us building our squad here. So we're going to go down the list of all the different tools or jobs that we need to fill. So if you have a squad of 4, I guess we're wearing multiple hats.
Yeah, like you said, when you have 9 big 500-pound bikes going off into the woods, that's a handful to deal with. So, usually my group is 2, 3, 4 guys tops. You're definitely going to be finding yourself in multiple jobs on the squad, right? And I have a feeling that a lot of the listeners, including probably ourselves, could step in and fill basically any job on this squad where you needed to and be a Renaissance man. So I'm not familiar with the military outline and the military, jargon as far as this stuff goes. So I look forward to learning some more about that. And yeah, this should be pretty fun, man.
So I have a title / job for each of these, and I have a call sign for each of these, which I think that you will find interesting. So
I might.
In my opinion, like there's a term that we use in the military as the point man. Who's the guy up front? So who do you see as that person, and what is their job?
For the point man, to me, is probably the navigator. I'm thinking the guy that's always in front, the guy that has the GPS, that put the time in making the tracks, figuring out where we're going, right?
That is the way that I see it. Obviously, in a world of helmet comms, we could do it differently, but to me, it's like, oh yeah. So the point man, the navigator, call sign, the cartographer.
I like that. I got to be honest, I'm not really familiar with what a call sign even is, to be honest here. Dude, I was an art major. I was the complete opposite of anything in the military. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the hippie guy out there in the corner doing what you weren't supposed to do. This is not my world. So you may have to throw some definitions out there for us.
Anybody who's watched Top Gun Maverick will kind of get a piece of it, because this is the unscripted show of all of the side adventures and whatnot. I'll peel back the layers a little bit. I think you and I want to do another episode about this later, but I signed up for the military and I had a score high enough on the military induction test that I could do any job I wanted to in the Army. And at 18 years old, I took the physical, and they informed me that I was colorblind. I had lived for 18 years of my life struggling with identifying purple, for lack of a better term, not knowing that I have a minor red-green deficiency. And so rather than become a helicopter mechanic and later chief, which is what I wanted to do, they offered me 3 jobs, and I picked the one that sucked the least, which was radio operator. Which later paid off because I volunteered to become a machine gunner who also knew how to run a radio, and I got to do a lot of fun things and some other not so fun things. But yeah, call signs are something I'm familiar with. Normally, at least the way the military used to do things, they were innocuous things like, this is X-ray 26, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But obviously all the movies have like fancy names and stuff like that, and we used those too. Like, it is interesting what they train you to do and what are some of the shit we do when we're overseas. But anyway, that is a story for a different episode. But yeah, to me, I see the guy up front, like the obvious first person is like, who's even planning this trip? Like, who's even going to know where we're going and what we're doing? I totally see as, the point man, the navigator, straight up.
Yeah, he's the guy that's going to be familiar with the terrain, be able to read maps, have a good, just natural sense of direction, not really get lost too much. I mean, you may make a wrong turn here or there or what have you, but generally you're going to be pretty familiar with your equipment and, how to read your GPS, how to read a map, and then, again, just naturally know, oh, I'm going north, bullet point to this: if you're the guy that has to take a map and turn it around while you're in transit so that you're always facing the direction of travel rather than having north at the top of your map, you're not the navigator.
Shots fired from Mark.
Shots fired.
I see it as kind of the plans person too, right? Like the navigator is usually the guy that's like, okay, well, we got to lead, and we got to leave at this time if we want to get there, and it's this far, and they typically know how far it is from gas and X, Y, and Z. So they've laid out the full plan for the day, and they're typically the obsessive compulsive person in the group that wants to get to the next thing or X, Y, and Z, or has very strong opinions of the way in which we go things, which I do find interesting because you don't follow directions very well. So
I don't follow directions very well at all. I do. Well, I run late at the bottom half of the day. At the beginning, I'm the first one there, dude. I'm not late to that sort of thing. But yeah, it's I'm the navigator for like the Bad News Bears teeth squad of motorcycling. Like if it's all my people are the
Misfit toys.
I'm the island of misfit toys, dude, and that's going to be my squad. But if you want to go with like a traditional squad, yes, you're 100% accurate on that. Different strokes for different folks, my friend.
The next person that I see in this is the person who's constantly obsessed with making sure that all the communication devices work and that everything is smoothly communicating with one another, knowing what's going on. And this guy is who we affectionately refer to as Chatterbox.
That's awesome. I like the Chatterbox.
Squawk box is an option
Squawk
B
box.
for people who are accustomed with that term as well.
Which one is more derogatory?
I think Chatterbox will be more understood by people who don't know.
Okay.
Squawk box was when we had radios in the trucks. You usually had to hold a handset, but occasionally we would get lucky and we would have like a speaker system, and everybody just called that the squawk box.
So that's the guy that, like, in Apocalypse Now or whatever, has the backpack with the telephone on it. That's like, red team go, like that guy, right?
100%. So
yeah, this is definitely not me and it's definitely not my buddy Andrew either. Usually this is like, oh, dude, you got the buddy who pulls up and you're like, we've got to have the cardos and all that ready to go by the time he gets here, because we have like 2 chances to make all these things link up before he's like, I'm out, forget it. Yep. I'll just listen to my music all day. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
I borderline being that guy. Yeah, it's. I wish Cardo would just make it easier for everybody to be the comms guy. But there's definitely like the group guy who's like, oh no, you just hold down these 2 buttons, you put your left foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your left foot in, you shake it all about, and bam, it all works. And that guy knows the tricks. No, everybody else is looking at him like he's a magician. You know what I mean?
No, that is 100% it. That all of a sudden the comms stop working and you pull over to the side of the road and it's like, you turn your headset off. You need to put it in pairing mode. You need to turn your headset on now. And then
there's another guy in the back, his hair's on fire. Like, what the hell is pairing mode?
Yeah.
How do I get there?
Yeah, there's somebody that's with you they know all the comm stuff. If you want to take it to the extreme, and I know this person too, they have a CB radio on their bike with a push to talk, so they can talk to the truckers on their long road trips and stuff like that.
That's
you'll run
hardcore.
into the dirt bike guys. Some of them they're carrying I forget what it is, trail rated radios or whatever.
Oh yeah, the push button thing on there.
Yeah, so they've got those, and they have those with headsets now. I think there's some other people that have got some specialized equipment. I don't think I've seen one in a while. I want to say I've seen one for sure in this lifetime, but they have ham. They figured out how to get some micro ham set up or whatever it is on their bike or whatever else it is. But
wow,
these are the folks that are obsessed with knowing what's going on all the time, and they've linked their GPS to their Cardo to their phone and have the ability to hit playlists on their GPS and all that stuff.
Micro ham. That's kind of like, we should call that guy Bacon Bits or something like that. You know, that's his nickname.
I'm not going to pick on any ham listeners because I guarantee there are ham listeners right now. Guarantee.
I think it's awesome, dude. that's not a derogatory phrase at all. Yeah. I think that's rad. I love it, man. Yeah, I wish I could be the comms guy, but I'm not the comms guy. I can do it. Like, are you the comms guy? Like, we can figure it out in a pinch, but
radio operator, formal cable guy. I mean, I can't escape, right? Like at this point, I'm definitely that guy. And
that's your station in life.
When it was Senna and it was mostly like push buttons and sequencing, I was very good at it. But you're right. Now that it's Cardo, it's like, all right, I got to get my app out. And
yeah. Who hasn't updated the app? How dare you?
Oh, it's so stupid. So another toss out to military folks. The last personality in what I call the command and control group, people who are the 30,000 feet people. Who is your buddy that is obsessed with whether or not it's going to rain, who you affectionately refer to as Radar?
Radar. Dude, you lost anybody born after 1982 with that reference, because that's 100% a MASH reference too, right? So it I don't know. I gotta say, I'm not sure who that guy is. We all kind of take that role on in our squad, I think, but it's constantly like, it's more like you're riding and you look off, and it's actually we did that on the ride Chase was talking about in the mail call. It's like that whole day we were just watching the clouds, and our entire route was based on where the dark clouds were off in the distance, and we managed to thread the needle in the sunshine. So, you know, the meteorologist is a highly important role, and someone has to assume it. It's really cool when that guy has a fancy GPS that's also linked to his phone. So this can be the comms guy and can actually read the radar on the fly on his bike. I have that capability. I just don't know how to do it. So that's like top tier stuff right there.
You're obviously, it's clear that I ride alone a lot because I'm all of these people as well.
Yeah.
So Rever launched a weather overlay forever ago. It's been a while since I needed it, but when they first launched it, it was really good. Like I legit was rolling up on my route and could see clouds, like rain clouds up ahead on my phone. And I literally like stopped. I was like, no, I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to wait here for 10 minutes and then it'll just be wet roads. And it was one of those, like I stopped. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to head west. Just go straight west for a little bit and then jump right back on there. Boom. Rock solid. So Rever had that back in the day. I downloaded something new, and I'm screwing the listeners here, so I'm sorry. I had to download an app for my phone so that it would work with my CarPlay emulator. Same thing. So now that I can hit something on my GPS screen, my route's gone, but I'm in a different app, but it's on the touchscreen, so it's no big deal. But then I've got active radar. Same thing. So it's like I can see the roads. I know kind of which way I'm going, and I can see the radar actively moving on there. That's kind of convenient. I got rained on ridiculous last year. I expect that to happen again this year at the rate things are going. So I hate that. So I need to develop this a little bit better, but yeah, I'm pretty obsessive about it. I'm at the age now where I'm like a cat. I don't like to get wet, so I want to put my rain gear on first.
That's hilarious. There is a pretty good app that I use for work called My Radar a lot. That's a pretty good overlay.
Actually, I think that's what it is now that you
it may be. It's dark skies used to be the bomb for weather apps. Yeah, exactly.
So it's if anybody's listening has bought one of those CarPlay emulators, a CarP Ride or whatever else it is, My Radar is compatible with that.
Yep, that is it. That's a good one, man. And on the DMD, they actually have an overlay, so like I can just toggle between a couple different like I guess overlay is the right word in it. And if it's tied to my phone, it'll have the radar on one of those screens. So that's pretty cool. I've got to get to know that a little bit more, but there's a lot of different ways to go about it. So
yeah, I mean it's six in one hand, half a dozen the other. I get it. Some people are listing and on ADV squad of their own of whatever kind. It's like if it's raining, I'm not going anyway. I don't care if it rains or not. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I try to tailor the ride around, run it clockwise or run it counterclockwise based on what the weather's going. So different strokes for different folks.
I'd rather be not wet if I don't have to be.
Yeah, definitely that. All right. And moving on to technical and environmental skills.
Uh-oh.
Everybody needs that guy who can get us out of a jam when the bike isn't doing what it's supposed to do. We call him Fixer.
That's an appropriate name for the mechanic. Just simply Fixer. That's it. I expected it to be a little more creative than that.
I mean, we could be Grease Monkey and all of those other kinds of things, but I'm like, nah, he's the fixer, that's for sure. So, yeah, I think to some degree are the mechanic, considering the number of tools that are on your bike.
There's a lot of tools on my bike, and I've just only because of experience and the need to actually do it myself. I mean, there's been not plenty, but there's been times where actually maybe plenty is the right word. There's been times where I've been stuck in the woods or on the road or traveling or something, and the bike wasn't doing what it needed to do, and I couldn't figure it out. One case comes to mind where my wife and I were riding down in Key West, Florida, and on the 950, and the bike got so hot that the little flap underneath the fuel tanks needed to be cut, and I had to literally call my buddy Wes, and he talked me through how to do the quote flapendectomy, which is a LCA guy knows what that's all about. That sounds like a procedure for another episode, right? But he talked me through how to do it. She and I both, manhandled those petcocks and, got those flaps taken care of on the side of the road. So a lot of it's born out of necessity, but you're going to be the MacGyver of the group. Like you're going to figure out how to get it done with what you have available and get us back on the road. Right.
Apparently, we need to put flappendectomy in the next episode of Motorcycle
Oh,
Encyclopedia.
did you just write that down? I saw you
better
took a
believe
note.
I did.
Yeah, buddy. That's amazing. Flappendectomy is a real problem on those 950s, man. You better believe it.
Yeah, so the mechanic is definitely that guy in your crew that can take, I don't know, a shoestring bubble gum and a bubblegum wrapper and get some, two-stroke fired back up, or rebuild a carburetor in the parking lot.
Yep.
Gas station, or has the tool roll or the fancy tools for everything, and all that jazz. So, and I think that's something that all of us typically want, especially if we're going deep in the woods. At a minimum, who's the guy who can change tires and is very comfortable doing it in a pinch or in the dark?
Oh yeah, man. I got to be the tire change guy because I was jealous of the tire change guys on my earlier escapades, and we would get in the woods and it's like we're struggling getting this thing changed, and one of the more senior riders would come out and just change that thing with some spit in his bare hands, you know what I mean? And just, manhandle that tire onto the rim. And I was always like, I want to be that guy, dude. Like that's something to aspire to right there. And you only get it with practice and, technique building and time on the bike. I mean, you don't just get it by thinking about it. It's one of those skill sets that you come by honestly. So eventually you become the old guy putting the tire on the bike for the young whippersnappers. And that's where we are at this point in life, right?
Yeah, how does that statement go? That wisdom comes from good judgment comes from having bad judgment. Yeah, that's more or less
something
the way
like that
happens.
That's about right.
Another person who I bet we don't bring in the squad as much as we probably should is the dude with the bandages, affectionately referred to as Stitch. And for Marines out there, it says the corpsman on my list here.
What's a corpsman? I'm not familiar with that.
A corpsman is a Navy medic. We're going to do military history time. For those that don't know, in the Army, we have medics. They're in the Army. Marines get a paycheck from the Department of the Navy. They are, for all intents and purposes, the fighting arm of the U.S. Navy, but they're still Marines. They are separate from the Navy in its own way. However, Marine medics are corpsmen. So, dead serious, you will see a squad of Marines standing there, and there's one guy who's a medic is wearing a Navy uniform because he's in the Navy. He's not in the Marines, but he is deployed with the Marines as Marines. He's the one Navy guy whose balls they will not bust because he's the one who puts them back together. I'm not.
Interesting.
That's the real deal. Yeah, it's a real deal. So that's a corpsman. So when I built this up, that was kind of the notes that went in there. So
I'm not familiar with that. What's like core, like CORE, man?
CORPS.
Oh, okay.
Like Marine Corps.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes. I'm still not understanding. Now it makes sense. Gotcha.
Well, it's really funny now because anybody who's listening to the podcast is probably watching our subtitles on the show, and I guarantee AI did it all wrong. So that'll be a fun outtake later.
No doubt about it. Yeah. Can you hold your own when it comes to doing some basic first aid, or where do you feel like you stand on that?
I got my CPR card yesterday, legit, for real. That's my second one actually.
Nice.
It's been a minute. I do carry a tourniquet with me all the time. Thanks to my buddy Bill, who is my medic in chief for sure. He's my probably most frequent riding buddy because his schedule can mix up with mine, and he'll follow me into the dumbest decisions on earth without question.
We've got to get him on the show to talk about this.
That's 100% it. No, it's on my list for sure. We need to set that up because I do want to talk about motorcycle safety and stuff like that. But yeah, I think more of us probably need to pay attention and bring a med kit. Have somebody that knows how to use it. We probably should all, especially big bikes doing harder things, be a little bit smarter because the way that things have gone sideways. Like one of the last adventure rides I had of the season last year, a guy twisted his foot up pretty bad. He didn't break anything. There was no blood involved, but it's like, no, we had to kind of get a bike out of a nasty puddle and kind of figure out how to limp it through the hard stuff to get back to someplace where he could rest, right? So yeah. It's a personality I think we miss out on a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Like I can probably do some basic stuff, but it's the medic and the tool guy are very similar in terms of like mentality and preparation and stuff, right? But like I feel like if you have a toolkit between the 9 of you on that group, so you guys can figure it out, right? But man,
Yep.
when there's a medical problem and let's just say it's bad, if you don't have the training to go along with the medical kit that you've brought, that medical kit doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
You've got to know, like, I need the tourniquet or how to put the tourniquet on and how to do it, like, seriously, under pressure. Like, that is definitely something that I would love to pay more attention to myself as a rider in groups and just by myself. So, yeah, it's, it's definitely one of the more important things that, to your point, is overlooked far too often. Does that make sense?
Yep. Well, and it's funny because you're bringing memories back. As an aside, ironically, the first thing I ever did in the Army was I laid on the floor during a weekend, and I was the guy who had to play the casualty while the entire unit practiced how to evaluate a casualty. So to this day, those steps are pretty well burned into my head on what do you do and in what order, which is literally triage. Like it's literally like, okay, like is the person awake? Are they with it? Can they breathe? Which you would now know because they're alert and awake. Are they bleeding? You know, like all those things. So
Yeah.
it is interesting how I ended up doing that. Everybody who goes in the military ends up doing this. So to some degree,
Okay.
you have some habits. There's bigger stuff that comes later, which, you know, later I had to learn how to do some IVs and, you know, how do you treat a sucking chest wound? How do you stuff a nasal pharyngeal, which is a fancy word for a tube in someone's nose because they have an airway that's blocked, but you can get into their airway by going through their nose and things like that. We did a bunch of that extra stuff when I went overseas before. To your point, I think the biggest issue is there's actually a lot you can learn just on the internet, talking to your friends. You can download. I guarantee it. You could go somewhere and Google, you know, military or Army field manual, download all the information in there, and you could read it, learn it, all that stuff. It's the practice. I think what people don't recognize, and you know this, tires, riding off road, lots of people listening know that. If you don't practice the skill, just knowing it doesn't help you when you've lost your nerve, which is what's going to happen if somebody's bleeding really bad, one of your friends is not responsive, you know, if there's a whole bunch of blood and a bone showing and X, Y, and Z. So it really means like, no, you need to put a tourniquet on something and ratchet it down and understand how it holds, how it works, how it doesn't work, how to fashion a tourniquet out of something else, how to apply a dressing. But to your point, yeah, now you can get first aid kits that they've got tourniquets in it, they've got quick clot, they've got some other stuff in it. You just understand, like, yeah, don't get quick clot near important things because bad shit happens, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man, those are great points. I wish I could remember the guy's name on Instagram. I started following earlier this year that does motorcycle first aid. Like it's funny because he just always wears a helmet. You have no idea what he looks like. He's got like a mirrored shield on there, and his videos are pretty entertaining. But at the end of the day, like pretty educational too. So yeah, it's, you know, I don't want to keep harping on it, but it's definitely overlooked. So if you want to step into a role, become the medic.
I mean, I opened this with that comment about the Marines, but it's a real thing, right? The Marines and the Army have a rivalry, but the Marines and the Navy also have one. But when it comes to the corpsman, I've never met a Marine that had shit to say about a corpsman for a damn good reason. So yeah, if you want to be loved by everyone, yeah, it is usually patching up somebody in the woods. You're like, dude, that guy saved my life, like for real. Like,
Hell yeah,
definitely that.
Sweet.
One of my favorite roles, which I don't think gets to be used quite as often, especially in the ADV space, as I think it deserves, but every good team needs a field geologist or combat engineer, somebody who gets us out of sticky situations or makes obstacles go away. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. I meant to say affectionately named Scorch.
Scorch. That's incredible. Okay. So I think I'm going to need you to start the elaboration on this one and fill me in a little bit with field geologist and engineer because these are not terms that I'm very comfortable with yet. I'm going to see when you're talking when it clicks with me and when it makes sense and when I go, oh yeah, that's this guy in my squad.
Who's the dude that you hang out with who looks at the dirt and is like, oh, that's just really fluffy loam over there. That stuff on that other hillside is all full of rocks and shale, and so there's no traction over there. So this is that dude that like looks at all the lines and is like, no, 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 the easy one's over there. We just have to go up and around those trees. There'll be a ton of traction up there, no problem. Nobody's polished the clay off or anything like that. That's the space to be. Or it's the dude who literally has like the Leatherman or some kind of side cutters or whatever it is that's, strapped in his vest. And it's like, we just need to lop off a couple of these limbs. And I'm just going to throw the bike over the edge of this fence here real quick. And then we'll just go over and get around. It is the MacGyver that's like, nah, this road isn't closed. That tree's not blocking this trail. We'll get out of here. Yeah. The dude with the chainsaw strapped to his bike.
So is this, I have a famous phrase that is associated with myself. I know a shortcut. Am I this guy, Drew? Am I this guy? It sounds like I might be.
It depends, right? A shortcut actually ends up being a shortcut. Sure.
No.
Because it is really the right. Like, no. You're the anti, you're the long cut.
No, I'm the guy that thinks I have a shortcut and means well with the shortcut, but then it turns into a long cut and it ends up being a memory. So maybe I'm the anti this guy.
The combat, excuse me, Gilligan may pretend to be a combat engineer, but they are not the same person.
Gilligan, you just call me Bob Denver.
The combat engineer is the guy who's going to move obstacles out of the way so that the mission can continue. The guy who understands all of the obstacles on the field, knowing, like I said, the terrain and the geology of the situation. That's like, no. If we just put a rock down here, we can get up a kicker, we can go over this log. Like, it's always as you like to say, tactical solutionary to the situation. Gilligan is the guy that says it's fine and takes you on a 3-hour tour.
Yep. Gotcha. So I'm a little bit of the Gilligan and a little bit of the professor. This is the professor is what I'm hearing. If we're making Gilligan Island references, which, by the way, I'm all about, like, we could easily do an episode and go, 100%. Which Gilligan's Island character are you on the squad? And by the way, we should do that, Drew, because I am familiar with all those characters. I might be a little bit of both, but I definitely have a buddy who I think is this guy who, I'm pretty good at getting us into the stuff. And then it's like, oh, okay, we need to actually be able to get out of here. So who's going to think like rationally and like, okay, like, hey, idiots, child's playtime is over. The adults are stepping in and we're going to actually all go home to our wives and children tonight. That's the guy, right? Yeah, that's probably not me. I don't know if that's you either, to be honest with you. I think it could be us, but I don't think it normally is.
I do try to fancy myself as a person who recognizes good lines, but I would assume that my life experience says that I'm not this specialist. There's somebody else who understands the dirt, the motorcycle, and the ways out way better than I do. So I will definitely let somebody else hold that mantle up.
I'll just hold Walker's Creek in as Exhibit A when I led my group down the first hill and I immediately fell over. Didn't drop my bike because it was a ledge. I just leaned it into the ledge. We probably should have turned around then, but oh no, I kept going because I'm not turning around. Yeah, I'm not this guy. I'm not this guy at all. Nope.
You said Gilligan, and I can't help but to think of it. Yeah, that. Oh shoot! Now I've totally had podcast brain. The dog and Shaggy. Holy smokes!
Scooby-Doo. What are you talking about?
Duh. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Scooby-Doo versus Gilligan's Island.
Oh my gosh! Yep, we are. Now you want to yell at me for rabbit holes? You're guilty of it this episode, buddy. That was a bad one, but I'm in. I mean, if you want to do it, I'm in.
All right, so this is the morale documentation. I don't actually know what I would throw this third person in as. So to some degree, the muscle, I guess you could say that. Yeah, that's fair enough to say. The muscle, morale, and documentation. So this is you to some degree. At some point, somebody has to be the person who tends to the flock from the back of this adventure. And the call sign that I looked up that I like the most is the closer.
Oh yeah, that sounds badass. Yeah. If you're not going to be the ride leader, you got to be the sweep guy in my worldview, right? Like I want to be one or the other. And
Mm.
I imagine you're probably the same. I don't see you riding in the middle very often.
No, that is typically the case. I make a joke that I'm a fat bike recovery specialist, and that's the other piece that goes with this, right? If you're the guy in the back, you're tending to the flock. You tend to be the person that wants to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody makes it, nobody gets lost, and you're a halfway decent navigator. At the same time, it never hurts to be the guy who's like, I'm pretty good at getting other bikes out of a bad situation because I'm the one who runs into those people the most as the guy in the back. And so, yeah, you end up helping all these folks and giving them tips on the trail to get their bike out of a hairy situation or, remember to pick up the kickstand before they take off and all that stuff.
You've got to be good at all these other jobs. You may not be a specialist in any one of these other jobs, but you've got to be good at all of them because guess what? There's nobody coming for the sweep rider. The sweep rider is it. He's the guy. And one of my best buddies, man, he and I, he came on one of the big group rides I did very early on in my dual sport riding career. And, somehow or another, he ended up being the sweep on that ride. And that's how we became like buddies, man, because I just knew that he knew where he was. He knew what was going to happen. He knew where to get, oh, okay, Flux and his crew are meeting at this place. I know how to get anybody left over to that place, and it may not even be on the same route, but like he's going to get the job done, That's the sweep rider is like, that is a very, very, very important member of the squad, and he is entrusted with an awful lot.
It is the jack of all trades, a master of none. I forgot I had a note here that I didn't think about. Rigging, recovery, and extraction specialist. That's like the title. And I forgot about the rigging part that I'm like, oh, no. That's also the guy that has picked up all the crap that's fallen off your bike on the trail, on the asphalt or everything else. And he's probably the guy that knows how to put it back on the bike so that doesn't happen again.
Yep. And he's going to end up catching back up to the group so he can hold his own in terms of riding. He shows up. He's just got a bunch of crap strapped to the back of his bike, like cargo net. He's probably got a cargo net. He's definitely got tools. He's definitely got a tow strap. He definitely knows the terrain. Yeah, man. He's prepared to spend the night out there if he needs to, if you want to go extreme.
Alternate call sign is like old reliable. It is almost always somebody who's like, you see him as a bad situation's happening. They're fixing somebody else's bike or whatever it is. And they just wave at you like, go ahead and start. And you'll see the other rider they were helping later. And they're like, where was so-and-so? And then they finally show up and you're like, what happened? And they'll be like, they've always got a story, but you never worry that person's going to get lost or not catch the group somewhere. Never. It's just like, all right, fine. We're good.
He may not even have a lot to say. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not the case in my group. He talks more than anybody. However, he may just, be haggard and, seen the road. He's seen some shit, man, and he can figure it out. That's what I like about the sweep guy. He can figure it out and figure out how to, in addition to getting the rider that he's sweeping up, he's got to get him mentally back in the game because the sweep rider can only run one bike at a time. So it's not like he can come up on you and, maybe you're the last ride, not the sweep, but the last rider, and you've fallen in this ditch and you've been sitting there for 30 minutes before sweep guy came up on you and your morale is super low. The sweep rider gets you back up right, gets you taken care of. He's got to pump you up, man. You still got a ride to finish, dude, and no man's left behind. This guy's going to get you there, and it's like, let's go get this. That's the sweep guy.
I'm going to skip rope because I think this other role can easily overlap with the sweep rider. I believe it is a specific role, but based on what you just said. So I'm going to skip number 8 and we're going to go over to number 9. The public affairs officer. Actually, it's kind of funny. For folks that have ever watched Full Metal Jacket, the main character ends up getting in public affairs, for lack of a better term. Back then, I guess they did call it military journalism or whatever else it is. But by today's standards, you're somebody who works for like Stars and Stripes, and you really do take cameras and take pictures and make movies and all that other stuff, and ends up in the military newspaper, website, whatever else it is. But I'm calling this person the Watchman. And this is that person that's in your group who is a huge people watcher, never met a stranger, and takes the group photos, always wants to stop the group to take the best picture in the best location, probably has a drone, definitely has a good camera. If not, takes a kick-ass camera or photos with their phone. But yeah, very much like documenting everything that's happening. You may be patching somebody up on the side of the trail, fixing a bike, getting unstuck or whatever it is, and then later there's this huge photo dump on Facebook after the fact. You're like, holy shit, what, you were back there taking pictures while we were, I had no idea that you were doing that. So that person is also the peacekeeper. Like I said, they're the people watcher that's always at the gas stations and whatnot, that's keeping up public relations with the non-motorcycle people, but also the person who de-escalates the mid-crash arguments on the trail about somebody's pushing, blocking, braking too fast, following too close, and when the tempers get heated, this person's doing that. But I could see the sweeper doing that as well, per your comment.
Man, you just described what I think might be my second job besides navigator. Yeah, the whole time that you're talking about this, I'm like, yeah, okay, got it. Yep, for sure. That is not a job you can train for.
It's who you are.
That is a job that is who you are, 100%, dude. It's either you're this guy or you're not this guy, and that's fine, you know. But that's just in what your view of the world is and what your view of yourself is, you know. It's the age-old thing, and you know it about me, and not to make this about me, but everybody else that knows me personally knows. I'm going to walk in and talk to that guy at the gas station, and you might see me in 5 or 10 minutes. I'll be honest, the mechanic, that he hates me, because usually he's trying to figure out, you know, like, oh man, people, while that 5 or 10 minutes is going on, he's trying to fix some stuff. Like, let's adjust that guy's handlebars while Mark is in there talking to that damn, you know, guy on the Jeep, figuring out what the trail situation is ahead or whatever. Yeah, it's I like that category. What was the code name for it? Call sign.
The Watchman.
The Watchman. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the Watchman isn't involved enough though of a call sign. Like, the Watchman watches, right? Like, he's an observer.
Yeah.
However, you have to be an observer and somebody who's actually participating, right?
I had a whole list. Like, every one of these had like multiples to choose from, right?
What was another call sign for this one that you can think of off the top of your head? Not to put you on the spot.
Shutterbug.
Shutterbug's good.
Or just Shutter, you know, like it's one of those things, like, out of every crew, somebody's the photo guy. Somebody's some, you know, freelance blogger, vlogger, you know, 360 camera, like, is religious about it. Somebody is that person in your crew.
You get back home and all of a sudden, like, Instagram is just blowing up and you're like, I just got home. How did all this already get on Instagram? It makes zero sense whatsoever, man.
No, we all know that person. I wish I still had the list. I could probably look it up, what some of the different things were. And please, if you're listening and you know these people, leave comments of what the nicknames are of your friends that you swear up and down are one of these people, because we'll all get great laughs out of that. So please share that stuff on the comments here on Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
Or send me an email. I can't wait to read them.
Yep. Same. I want to hear about it. Absolutely. Where are we going next, man? We have one more. Is that it? One more?
The last one that I'm sure we all know. Somebody is already asking about lunch and you haven't even left the first gas station. This person should affectionately be named Cookie, because they're the quartermaster. They are the squad chef, the person who is most concerned about keeping you fed and making sure that they get fed. There might be cast iron literally on their bike. And in my case, I'm known for my love of chicken fingers. I've probably never passed a gas station that makes
You
chicken fingers
you
for
do
sure.
love chicken
Right.
fingers, dude.
It's a thing, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, everybody knows this person who has got all of the food stashed away on their bike, and is worried about where the next meal is.
Oh yeah, man. It's everybody has their road food go to. Like it's so funny, man. Yours definitely I used to think you were a pizza guy, but you're through and through a chicken fingers guy.
Oh,
And
it is the inverse, truthfully. Like I love pizza, but I'm a
yep,
pizza snob.
same.
Chicken
Yeah.
fingers you can screw up, and I'm still pretty happy about it.
Really? See, I'm an equal
100%.
opportunity pizza guy, but as a lactose intolerant motorcycle rider, I got to
Yeah.
pick my battles. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
those lactate pills, they work like 75% of the time.
Yeah.
So I got to be ready to get back to camp if that's going to be the situation. But dude, when you said the quartermaster, I was just thinking of the old pirate series Black Sails. Have
Yeah.
you ever seen that show?
I have actually, and I'm too old now. If they would turn down the raciness just a hair, I would convince my wife to watch it too.
Oh man, that was a great show. But yeah,
Yeah,
the
it is good.
quartermaster is just like that was the perfect way to say it. Just he's gonna take care of everybody's stomachs. Like we're gonna make sure we all got food. We're all gonna eat well. You know, there's times where we'll be headed back to camp and I'm sitting there going, man, I wonder what we're going to do about dinner tonight. But then all of a sudden, you know, Danny pulls off at some gas station or a little country market and he's got like the best steaks money can buy. And he's packed them on a cooler I didn't even know he had. And we get back to camp and, you know, while the rest of us
awesome.
are like trying to like, shovel the dirt off our shoulders from the day's ride. He's already like setting up a flipping charcoal grill out of nowhere. I'm like, where do you even keep all this stuff, Danny? I don't understand where it's all coming from. And he's got like full size salt and pepper shakers, like not even travel size, just full size, a pepper grinder, like he's at, Olive Garden or something like that, you know? And that's the way that goes, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the greatest gifts you can get, right? It's one thing when you have somebody who's a friend who's on the road that's like they've got snacks or whatever else it is, but it's kind of like they're not going to miss a meal. It's different when you have that friend that's like, no, they don't want to miss a meal and they can't wait to cook. Like they want to cook for everybody. Like that's
They
their
love it.
happiness. Yes, they want to watch everybody else be full, fat, and happy, and that's totally their jam. Like
Yep.
these are the greatest people to have, and you can, like I said, all three of these roles are these morale boosting people that are on the team. So like you were talking about the sweep and picking people up emotionally. I'm like, no, all three of these roles are like, that's totally in their personality archetype. That's who they are, is picking up everybody else and putting them back on the wagon in one fashion or another.
I like that. I didn't consider that we have subcategories of the 9 members of the squad, so I really like that, and I like that the morale booster category is just, it's so important, man, to keep everybody going. And the chef he's a great one to have. I mean, just it's making my mouth water because I haven't had dinner yet, and he's always gonna like know where, like, oh, where's the great place to get, this place has great craft beer, like this place has a great whiskey, let's make sure we're all lethargic and fat and happy at the end. And like you said, he loves doing it. It's not even work to him. It's like, this is it, and you throw him $10 for dinner at the end or something or whatever it is, and that's the business, dude. Hell yeah. I wish I was that guy. I'm that guy at home, but I'm not that guy on the trail. I'll just eat some ramen noodles out of my jet boil, if it was up to me. So props to the chef.
At the rally that shall not be named, there are multiple
dun.
people at that place that this is who they are. Like if you are lucky enough to walk past their RV on the right meal, you're about to either get your day started right, or you are about to truly celebrate that the day has been amazing, because that is their jam. They can't wait to just stuff the best stuff to you. Bacon wrapped filet mignon. I may have had that at one of those rallies that shall not be named. It was incredible. But
Choice, dude. Heck yeah.
I can think of 2 people right off the top of my head. Like that is totally their jam, and I am blessed to have them as friends.
That's fantastic. And by the way, they also like to make breakfast. You might get a breakfast burrito
Well, that was
rather
one
than
of
a
those
Cliff
people
Bar.
is a breakfast person, not a dinner person.
Oh,
Well,
yeah?
they are a dinner person, but that's exactly it. So
Heck yeah, that's perfect, man. Yeah, you could definitely. I think that you could. From what I know about you, I bet you could fill. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you're 7 out of 9 on here. I think you're 7 out of 9.
Army of one.
Yeah, I think you're 7 out of 9. What do you think? Do you think you're 7 out of 9?
I am not the chef.
No, I discounted the chef.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the chef. I can be the sweep. I can be the public affairs person. That's for sure. You're probably right. I'm probably not the geologist. That's for sure. But there's no doubt that many of these other roles are who I am. I would not claim to be the medic, even though I will say I'm above average capable in that space, but that's probably not who I am. But the first 3, 100%. I'm obsessive about the first 3, about weather and communication and technology / knowing where we're going. To a fault.
I excluded you from the medic and from the chef.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I don't mind getting out of a pinch, but it's usually because I'm going to be late.
Yep. Yeah. You definitely like a more structured day than I'll go with a more structured day, but not if I had to plan it, So it's funny, for all the similarities that you and I have, we have many differences, and this is probably one of them in how we structure our day. I mean,
I want to throw another personality up to me that came to me while we're talking. But first, I think the issue is like when I'm on like my 250, it's like I don't want to get that on the highway. It will do it, but it will be excruciating. Like I don't want to do 3 hours on a 250 on the interstate through a 70 zone.
Yep.
So a lot of this is about like, I don't want to lose time because I don't want to be that deep in the back roads in the dark with this crappy headlight and all that other stuff. So I'm always highly motivated, be like, we need to get this on the road.
Yeah.
You could rope this into public affairs officer. Maybe I could see that as multiple hats. Have you watched Ted Lasso, the show on Apple TV?
I love Ted Lasso.
So,
yeah, man.
For the listeners' benefit, especially because you have to have Apple TV to watch it, so you have to subscribe to it or have an Apple TV and subscribe to it. And it's a, quote, soccer show. I do not really care for soccer at all, and it's not a
soccer show, though.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
It's about the human spirit.
100%. Like, the main character is this just indomitable person. Like, nothing phases this guy.
Except
so I always think of, I don't know, like I think of the Joker like as a nickname or a call sign, but almost every crew has that guy that's like, no matter how shitty it is, no matter just how just terrible everything's going, this guy is happy as a clam or has the best cynical, sarcastic jokes, and everybody is in stitches, even though everything's on fire or everything's covered in mud.
Everything's on fire.
Yeah. It's funny. That person is amazing to have. So I have to think of some kind of role besides public affairs officer. Like, everybody has the comedian in the crew.
He does deserve his own title, and I'm not sure what that would be either, although court jester comes to mind.
Jester's good.
Jester's good, except it makes him seem a little bit too idiotic, in my opinion. And I don't think this person's an idiot whatsoever. Just jovial, happy-go-lucky, always optimistic, like the eternal optimist. He might just be called the Ted Lasso.
I mean, that's a real thing now, right? Like, who the hell's Ted Lasso? You'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. I actually came up with another one as we were talking too, because this guy hasn't been covered at all.
Okay.
And I'm going to call him maybe the old Warhawk or the storyteller.
Oh, yeah. Right? The historian.
The historian, dude. Yeah, the documentarian, right?
The librarian.
The librarian, 100%. All those things. This is the guy that, like, after the chef does his thing, after the, what'd you call him again, the chef? The quartermaster.
The quartermaster.
After the quartermaster does his thing, it is story time, boys and girls. It is time to gather around the fire because old General, whatever, is going to come out and bring you stories of yore and yesterday. And it's going to, most of us have, it can be the same group of people for 20 years. He's going to remember something that everybody else has forgotten. And then that moment in time is going to come out right then. And everyone's going to be like, dude, I can't believe you remember that. Like, how did you remember that? And you want to talk about movie references. And I don't know if you're going to get this one, but did you ever watch the original Transformers, the movie cartoon back in 1986? There was a character named Cup. He was like that.
Pretty good chance I've seen that.
You had to have, right? Cup was like that. And just, there was always, okay, Ernest Borgnine, right? Like if there's like a guy, and you know who Ernest Borgnine is? He was in Airwolf. Remember Airwolf?
Oh,
the helicopter show.
Suddenly, the listeners are seeing the generational difference between the two of us. It's not that far apart, but it's far enough.
All right. Well, you'll know Ernest Borgnine when you see him. Yeah. He was in the Inferno too with Steve McQueen, the fiery whatever, the Towering Inferno or whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, he's the old guy. He's battle weary. He's seen some shit, man. He might have an eye patch or for sure a scar. You know what I mean? And that dude is the old Warhawk, the storyteller, the librarian, the historian. That dude needs a job. He needs to be in here.
I like it. Did we miss anything else?
No, man, I don't think we did. The only other honorable mention I want to throw out there, which might fit in one of these categories that you mentioned already, is the pyro. The pyro. He's the guy that's building the
combat
fire.
Engineer.
Is that the combat engineer?
You're right. You're right. The guy. That's a good point. Is the pyro, because that's the personality archetype we all know. The question is which role of these is. That's another good listener comment opportunity. Like, hey, leave us a comment. Which one of these jokers in your squad is the guy who's constantly making the biggest fire ever at the camp?
Oh, dude, yeah. And like I said in an early episode that when I first started doing these with you, it's like, you don't mess with that fire. Like, God forbid I come through like a maniac and put a log on at the wrong angle or something like that. The pyro will just assume throw you in the fire with that log you stack wrong. You know what I mean? And
I've met this
You're
person.
that dude. You are that dude.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I bet you are. For sure, dude. Yeah. I can't be walking through the campground with a bourbon in my hand and come across the pyro because he's going to get mad about that improper log stack. For sure. He has a science and an art to it.
I have been told that I melted a fire pit in this lifetime. Actually, got it so hot the welds broke. Pit. I'm told.
Fair.
So
then I think you're that guy. I'm just saying.
So
other than that, no, I don't have fire ring. I don't have any other guys to add, man. This covers it, dude. I mean, this is gonna make a good squad.
Let's recap this. So you need somebody for navigation, somebody for plans, logistics / communications. Somebody in your crew is the obsessive weather person. You need a mechanic, you need a medic, you need a geologist / engineer, you need a sweeper, you need a chef, and you need a photographer / public relations person. Hopefully one of these people is Ted Lasso, and hopefully one of these people is your historian. Hopefully, if you're really in a pinch, you have pyro. Otherwise, leave pyro alone. So let us know. Leave us comments here on Spotify. Who of your friends, what is their nickname, and which one of these jobs are they? Put that on the comments here, and let's watch what the people of Spotify think of these crazy comments. So
I can't wait.
What do you want to close on, sir?
No, I can't wait to see what we've forgotten about. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who's essential operations crew in some of our friends' groups and where do they fit in. So let's hear it, please.
Excellent. With that, we will catch the listeners down the road.